we then get to a couple of individual episodes, which I love.
Yep.
You get the episode Phases, which concentrates on Willow's love life. Willow has kind of really awoken in this season. She's beginning to get interested in witchcraft, and through Buffy she's able to express herself more than she was previously. And she's coming to the realisation that Xander isn't interested in her at all.
Yeah.
Xander is actually now going out with Cordelia, who was the bitch prom queen.
Yep.
But Cordelia goes on a great little journey in this season, because she starts out as kind of being like the preppy prom queen. Her and Xander then have a random passionate relationship with each other, and then she kind of mellows out a bit. She's still kind of bitchy, but in a kind of a lovable kind of way.
Yeah. You
can kind of see why we want to hang out together.
When she become part an informal member of the gang?
She is. Yeah, by the end of the series and into season 3, she's helping them hunt vampires and looking up facts and stuff like that. It's sweet. It's cool.
Yeah.
So clearly, Willow knows that Xander isn't interested. I don't think they've revealed it yet. They're kind of going out secretly.
Yeah.
But it might be in the. I think it is in the Surprise Innocence 2-parter where Willow sees them making out, and she's like, this is so wrong. So she starts going out with Seth Green.
I was going to say, is he in it yet?
He's in it, yeah. AKA Oz. Oz is kind of like a bit of a lovable stoner 90s idiot who plays
Seth Green's character.
Seth Green's character and everything, yeah. And he's in a band called what's it like? It's like the Flying Kangaroos, or I don't know what it's called. He plays in a band anyway. And yeah, so Willow wants to have a relationship with Oz. Almost as kind of like a surrogate for not having Xander. So it turns out that there's a werewolf on the loose, and there's a cliched Australian werewolf hunter trying to track him down. The other thing about the episode that doesn't really work, and Buffy has to hunt down the werewolf. It turns out the werewolf is actually Oz, in a really fun twist.
Yeah.
And Willow has to deal with the fact that Oz is a werewolf. It's a great episode. It's really, really good. I really like it. I'm really fond of it.
Vampires and werewolves. This sounds familiar.
Oh, no. The next episode is a similar kind of idea, but it deals with Xander's love life. So Cordelia and Xander share a very odd relationship. It's kind of like a really love-hate thing. They insult each other, they argue with each other, and then they kind of make out and presumably do it. But
yeah.
It's never shown on screen, it's never confirmed.
It's not HBO, man.
It's not HBO, it's Buffy, goddammit. So they have a very odd relationship, and Xander is just getting really frustrated at it, and so he wants to prove to Cordelia that girls do like him. It's not just me and you and this abusive relationship we have. So he dabbles in witchcraft. A returning character from season 1 whose mum gets turned into a trophy at the end. He basically asks her to do a spell which makes girls instantly attracted to him. And so all the girls in Sunnydale love Xander all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And they're all chasing after him, they're fighting each other.
I remember this one.
It's a great episode, it's really, really fun. It's probably the funniest episode of the series so far.
Yeah.
Just because of the reactions. And they literally do get into serious fights with each other and stuff, and Buffy is trying to seduce them, and the funniest bit is when Xander, for some reason, he's running away from all the girls and he goes into Buffy's home, and then Buffy's mum says, "Oh, be safe with Buffy's mum." And then she's like, Xander, I don't think we've ever really met each other before. And she starts coming on to Xander and stuff. It's really, really great. It's a really fun episode. But definitely the funniest so far.
What happened to the actual player Xander? Why isn't he in more things?
It's so depressing.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Someone said he's the Bruce Campbell of this generation. Why did that not happen?
I know, yeah, he's great. I really like. He's really fun in Buffy. But we need a couple fun episodes because the next episode is very, very, very depressing. The next episode is called Passion, which is another fantastic episode. Angel as crazy vampire Angel is stepping up his kind of stalking of Buffy. It's really, really weird and awful what he's doing. So yeah, he really steps up, kind of trying to stalk Buffy and sending these awful messages to her and stuff. And he basically decides to go on his ultimate rampage. Now Jenny has it's not revealed yet. I think in this episode it was revealed that Jenny is part of this kind of gypsy thing that put the curse on Angel, and she's basically known all along what would happen.
Yeah.
So they're quite rightly pretty pissed at her. So she decides that she's going to find a way to break the curse on Angel and basically restore him to the way he was.
Yeah.
And that floppy disk with the information on the floppy disk gets lost down the side of the cabinet because Angel bursts in and murders Jenny.
Yeah.
So this is the third time that the status quo has been completely changed, because this has a huge ramification on all the characters, especially Giles, who was kind of fallen in love with his character, and then felt betrayed by her, and then having to deal with her death.
Killing her, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great episode. Passion, very very sad. The first big death in Buffy. This is you kind of have a few. You have 3 standalone episodes now, which are kind of like fall into the standard.
Yeah.
Once a week
once
kind of
for
thing.
the week beats them at end. Yeah.
Yeah. So Killed by Death is a good one. Buffy has a bad case of the flu, and she finds all these children are in hospital and they're scared to death of this guy stalking and murdering the children.
Yeah.
And it's all done for like a flu. This evil doctor's basically making these children have the flu to see this monster, to sacrifice them to this monster.
Yeah.
It's a good episode. I enjoy it enough. I Only Have Eyes for You goes into like these ghosts who haunt Sunnydale. And basically they piece together this story about a teacher and a former student had a relationship together. The student ultimately shot and killed the teacher, and you find out the reality of what happened. It's an okay episode until the ending when Angel appears and the ghosts of the former lovers embody Buffy and Angel. So they reenact the scene where the former student is like, "Oh, why are you leaving me?" and Buffy is playing the teacher.
Yeah.
And of course what you think is going to happen is you're going to think Angel's going to kill Buffy, but something stops him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Ah, fuck, what happened?" But he goes away, kind of thing. But it's a good episode, but that moment is really great, and the way Sarah Michelle Gellar and what's his face play the role is really play the interplay is really really great. And then you have the weirdest episode of the series. I enjoyed it, but it's got some really weird rapey undertones. Again, it's called Go Fish. Xander is sick of the school swimming team. He's like, "Oh, we're just a bunch of pricks and dickheads," and he wants. And you find out that the school swimming team is actually getting mysteriously vanishing one by one. It turns out the school coach is actually giving the boys like steroids, but steroids that turn them into fishmen. These fishmen are like kept captive because he basically wants to make them the best school swimming team in the county. Yeah. But these steroids is giving him basically turning them into fishmen.
That's bizarre.
It is really bizarre. And the weirdest part is where like Buffy's investigating, and Buffy's about to make a big break in the mystery, but the coach gets her and throws her into this underground cabin where there's water in it.
Yeah.
And it's like my boys like to eat, but for girls they have other passions. And basically the implication is that Buffy's going to get raped by these fish people.
Yeah.
And then Buffy says the really glib line of like, "Oh no. Sleeping with the whole swimming team, that's going to be bad for my reputation." Or something like that. It's a bit like...
That's pretty cringe-worthy.
Oi.
Yeah.
But it's okay enough. There's a couple of really funny scenes where like Xander's joined the team, and like he steps out wearing his Speedos and Cordelia's like... And then Cordelia has like a moment where like she thinks Xander's turned into a fish man, and she's basically saying how she feels about Xander.
Yeah.
Basically just laying it all out, and then he's like, "Oh, Cordelia, I'm here. I'm not a fish man." "Oh, then who's that?" "Ah!" And the fish man steps out, and it's great. It's okay. All right, so
epic conclusion.
The epic conclusion that the two-parter becoming. Throughout this series, when Angel has turned bad, he's basically making the moves on Drusilla. We're not going to talk about Drusilla that much, but she's okay, basically.
Yeah.
The whole point of the kind of the two-parter in the middle, the Surprise and Innocence, was basically trying to restore Drusilla back to her full power, so she could be unleashed upon the world.
Yeah.
And they've done that, and then kind of Angel's kind of trying to make the moves on her, and like Spike's getting pissed off. Spike was horribly injured, like in an incident in one of the other episodes, so he's bound into a wheelchair for most of the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's pissed off and he's had enough, and Angel concocts a plan to end the world. He's just gonna just fuck the world over and just destroy everything using this portal that opens up.
Yeah.
And it's going to unleash this
Is
demon.
that the Hellmouth?
No. They sit on a Hellmouth. This is something else. It's like this old soldier that can like open up this portal to hell, basically. And Spike's like, you know what? Fuck this shit. So he gets out of his, in a great moment, he like gets out of the wheelchair, throws the wheelchair to one side, and he has to team up with Buffy to stop him.
Yeah.
Now this is one I think that opens up with the kind of the past, the flashback scenes where you find out Angel's actually from Ireland. And his quest and what happened to him. So you actually visualise, you actually see his past.
Yeah.
So at this point we also discover Jenny's floppy disk, which contains information on how to defeat Angel and basically restore his soul back to him.
Yeah.
So Willow tries to do the witchcraft to try and bring his soul back to him, while Buffy is going in there basically to kill Angel.
Yeah.
Unaware that they're going to attempt this ritual. At that point, the Slayer from the previous, the second Slayer, she returns to help Buffy defeat Angel. She's called Kendra, and Kendra's killed, and then Buffy's framed for her murder.
Yeah.
So she's kind of on the run, she's desperate, and she knows she's got to kill her former lover. So unbeknownst to Buffy, the spell works, and just as she's about to kill Angel after their epic sword fight, he returns back to being the Angel she knew and loved.
Yeah.
But then she concludes she has no choice but to
kill him.
Has to kill Angel.
Yeah.
Which has a huge ramification on the first two episodes of season 3.
Yeah.
And then of course we make the huge mistake of bringing Angel back.
But does it work as a season finale in season 2?
Yeah. It's excellent as a season finale. What's great and the funnest part about it is Spike teaming up with Buffy.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on in Buffy after this, besides some Angel coming back, but I do know that Spike becomes like a reluctant hero.
Yeah.
And he's obviously one of the most popular Buffy characters, but him teaming up with Buffy is really fun to see, like him kind of coming down to her level.
Yeah.
And all he's doing is he wants Drew. He wants him for his own selfish reasons. But it's a fantastic episode. And it's also the episode where the whole love triangle, the whole love thing gets even more confusing, because it's only taken Willow to imbue herself with the power of evil, dark witchcraft to summon back the soul of an eternal dead vampire to make Xander realise that he loves her. Because it forces her into a coma, and we have a really sweet tender moment where they're like, for this time I realised I love you, Willow. And it's like, oh, Falco's just unconscious, and Willow's like, I love you. And it's like, but it just means Oz. And Xander's like, oh.
Do-do-do.
So it only took her to go unconscious through imbuing the power of witchcraft to make Xander realise that he loves her.
So, overall then, what would you give season 2? You've gone through each individual episode, and it sounds like they're all winners, pretty much.
They are pretty much all winners, yeah. They all, it's the season where the show is just, the step up is just phenomenal.
Yep.
It's a lot of the kind of elements that would make Joss Whedon a bugbear of many people are like, they're light.
Yep.
They're not too irritating. The characters all go on amazing development and growth. The kind of individual episodes kind of ride the line between being okay to being great. And then the overall arcing story, like, so just the way it changes up so many times throughout the course of the season is to be commended, really.
Yeah.
It's pretty much perfect as a season of television.
Yeah.
I really can't. Besides some individual episodes not been strong, I can't poke any holes in it, really. Because the whole narrative arc makes sense.
Yeah.
And what's great is in that final episode, again, the status quo is completely changed, because at the end of that two-parter, Buffy's mum discovers that she is the Slayer.
Yep.
And that whole big mystery has kind of been that's thrown out now. So now Buffy's mum knows. That's going to completely change the show's dynamics. And it ends with Buffy running away, which will have then ramifications from season 3, and the way season 3 opens. In some people's what some people view as being one of the least popular episodes.
Yep.
I think they're horribly wrong, but I'll get to that when
when you eventually
get to season 3. Yeah, which will be a while off yet.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm going to give season 2 of Buffy. Oh Jesus!
Well, you arguing between 9 and a 10.
Yeah, it's either a 9 or a 10. I'm going to go 9.
9.
9 out of, a very high 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
There's just those couple episodes which obviously aren't strong. Like a 10 would be like Deadwood season 2.
Yeah.
Or like Sopranos season 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a 10. This is like a 9. It gets very close.
Yeah.
And especially that's even better for a 22 episode season.
Yeah.
The writing quality is always high. The actors are really settled into their roles. You see different sides of the characters which you've never seen before. And overall, it's just a fantastic, entertainment.
Yep.
It's just great entertainment with some added depth and themes and great character moments and development. And it's funny and it's charming and it's witty and it can be dark and traumatizing and it's everything you want from a TV show, basically.
Yeah.
So Buffy season 2 comes highly recommended. It's the moment when the show goes to be kind of like a weirdo thing and becomes a mature show. And I can't wait to see where they take it.
Yeah.
I've heard there's some doozies coming up in season 3. Some doozies. Some great episodes.
Yeah.
And I know I have to wait a while for the musical episode, but...
Oh yeah, that's ages off.
Yeah, ages away, yeah. But yeah, I really can't wait to see what we do and where we develop these characters and where we take the stories next. So, yeah, season 2 of Buffy is fantastic.